In my last video, I teased that this would be the hardest world of the challenge yet, but I could have sworn that Far Future came after Frostbite Cave. I am a little disappointed, but we power on regardless. It's time for Lost City. Day 1 it's almost business as usual, but as you can see, there's a lot of zombies for day 1. Still easy, no problem, but this is a huge step up from other worlds. Day 2 introduces the parachute zombie. Nothing wild, but it means that we have to play very far back on the lawn. If you can even call this map a lawn, more of a pavement really. Day 3 is a conveyor belt level. I was going to keep up with that little brainbuster bit I had going on in the last video, but upon listening to it back, that wasn't very funny. Day 4 and the shovel guy is already here. For many challenges, this guy's a run ender, but he's honestly not bad for us, just a gum on sight situation. Day 5 is yet another conveyor belt level. Day 6 really highlights how much I sabotage myself in this challenge. We essentially don't need sun producers in this challenge, as the sun is generously provided by the sun tiles, but for some reason, I just refuse to engage with the world gimmicks in this game. I think it's a bit of an autopilot issue. If I'm not really thinking about it, then I just set up at the very back of the lawn with no thought. A skill issue basically. Day 7 introduces us to the parasol zombie. This is actually worse than you think. It only affects the sapling, but without access to any walls due to the excavator, this is a must-have plant. So ironically, without access to the sap flinger, we're in a really sticky situation. Fortunately, for some reason, the parasol doesn't actually block the sap. I guess it's because the sap targets the floor, but I don't know, that looks like it should be blocked to me. So to summarize, day 7, nothing happened. Day 8 doesn't let us choose our plants. And day 9 is a conveyor level. We are speed running this world. Day 10 is the Endurian tutorial. Here's a little spoiler for you guys. When I do my third PvZ challenge, I want to do one of these every year or so, maybe longer, just to keep it fresh. But when I do get around to the next one, I'm 99% set on beating the game only using the Endurian. I love this plant so fucking much, and it's a travesty that this is my second challenge where I don't get to use it. I don't know how the challenge would work, probably some variation if I can use any plant, but the Endurian is the only one that can deal damage. I don't know, I just think it would be fun. Day 11 and we have a serious problem. This level introduces the dragonfly zombie. Bar none our biggest challenge yet. I've said that a lot so far, which does make sense. Games tend to get harder as they progress, but we've hit somewhat of a wall here. They fly over our walls and aren't affected by any instant use plants at our disposal. Not even the gum that can stop this monster. The only thing that does permanently solve this issue is the perpetual girl failure, the Boing Setter. But once again, as if designed to perfectly ruin this challenge, the Boing Setter squishes the dragonflies. I know the challenge is not killing any zombies, but I love bugs and there's no need to kill them. Now we do have a way to best this zombie. A combination of tool nuts to stall and time warp to reset the flying zombies works a charm. The time warp goes from a nice bonus to solo carrying this whole challenge. So what's the issue here? Well, from my time experimenting on this world, this is the only combination of plants that I could beat the dragonfly with. And seeing as the dragonfly is in practically every level from now on, that means we kind of just have to use this exact setup level after level. And it's a really linear strategy. It doesn't really interact with any other plants. No instant use plant can do anything meaningful against flying zombies, and we're just going to be doing the same thing over and over again. Which is a real shame because the thing I love most about this challenge is the variety it brings to the game. So because of this super powerful combo that we need to use, this world actually becomes the easiest one to play, but by far the hardest to make interesting. On day 12 I attempted a suck and blow, not yet realizing the full magnitude of our bug problem. And just look at the way this map is flooded with sun tiles, completely unfettered access to sun, yet I effortlessly managed to avoid every single one of them. I wish I knew why I refused to engage with world gimmicks like this. Time warp sweep this level, but it did take a few attempts to be fair. Day 13's a brainbuster, but day 14 is also a brainbuster. Day 15 was an endangered plant level, which does give this challenge a much needed layer of spice. First time around I tried the time warp loop, but this is actually one of the only levels in this entire world it doesn't work on. We need to use sweet potatoes to clear the middle lane, but the excavators really mess up that plan and the time warp doesn't deal with them quick enough. I then realized this level doesn't actually have any dragonflies, so I took my favorite failure out for a spin, and it actually aced it. There's this really awkward dance you need to perform when using the Boing Setter. Once you've reached the final wave, you need to continue to stall, otherwise the zombies that have been pushed off the screen won't get hit by the lawnmower. But you can't do this with Boing Setters because they'll just push them back. This is really random and super time consuming, but we actually got it first time around on this level, which is pretty cool. Day 16 is yet another conveyor belt level, but again, I'm not mad, this time it's a pleasant break. Day 17 might be the final mosquito-less day of the world, so I went in with Boing Setters. This was the introduction to the Backpack Imp, which might be my favourite zombie in this world, as it's finally a use case for the Boing Setters' weird instant use destruction thing. She instantly destroys the tents they leave behind. I guess you could argue there's zombies in the tent, which is thematically true, but I think they're closer to the portals from modern day. This was actually another first try despite the Boingsetter's clunkiness. Day 18 is yet another gimmick level. In day 19, I brought the Ice Bloom along. I think it's such a cool plant for this challenge because despite doing damage, Time Warp heals zombie back up, allowing us to massively increase our stalling power. The issue is, however, because the Time Warp is just so good at stalling, it's already far more stalling power than we need. So the Ice Bloom's further increase in stalling doesn't actually do anything. It's like diminishing returns and all that. Day 20 is completely unnotable, so you know what that means. It's time for my micro presentation. And this time around, we're talking about embarrassing British traditions. Now, for context for my international viewers, which is most of you, Britain has a bit of a culture problem. It's a long-standing debate in the country, but what is British culture? It's not that we don't have any. It's just a bit unpronounced. Old people specifically really hate it when you claim there's no British culture or traditions. And they all point to the same thing: weird British blackface dances. Now these dances vary from region to region, but they're all basically the same. It's a dance or walk or march or party that prominently features blackface. Now unlike most uses of blackface, which is aimed to insult black people, this is supposed to represent Britain's industrial past, invoking the idea of a hard day's work in a coal mine or a chimney sweep. Regardless, it's very lame, but this is surprisingly divisive. And one thing's for certain, old people fucking love blackface. Any media covering this topic will be flooded with comments like these. Now, I personally think that the blackface debate really misses the point here. It's really futile debating this. It's just a bunch of old people saying it's not racist, it's just meant to be coal. Immediately followed up by go back to Africa. But instead of debating, it's so much easier to just laugh at it. Because at the end of the day, this proud British tradition is just a bunch of putrid pudgy pig lords performing the weakest dances found across the globe. What is there to even say about this? It's embarrassing. Please remember us for fish and chips, and not whatever this is. Day 21 limits what plants we can use, but I've got to say, this is kind of a sick selection. They look really tough together. Day 22 also limits what we can use. I kind of wish they put these tiles in some of the normal levels. I think it would have been really fun to try and navigate the zombies around them. Day 23 was really easy, but I've only just noticed that the Boingsetter's ability to destroy backpacks is actually worthless, as the zombies that spawn out just get time warped to the front anyway, like they're not a threat at all. Day 24 was the easiest flower line yet. I forgot to bring any garlics or sweet potatoes or anything, but the dragonflies are so fucking fast that I played normally and I just sort of won anyway. Day 25 is the classic 2 plant slot challenge, and now this actually is the last level without dragonflies. And because of that, I ran it back with double Boingsetter, and for the 3rd time in a row, we trounced it first try. I'm starting to come around to this little blue shirt. Day 26 was turbo boring, but I want to use this time to show you something crazy. I don't think you're all aware just how good the Plant vs Zombies community actually is. Like, I've heard it be disrespected quite a lot, but I've been a full-time Plants vs Zombies YouTuber for coming up 2 years now. And in that time, amongst the tens of thousands of comments I've got, it's been almost nothing but pleasant comments. A handful of criticism here and there, but nothing actually rude. Admittedly, I kind of think I sit just on the outside of the Plants vs Zombies community, as we're a bit more casually focused here, and you guys do watch my non-Plant vs Zombies stuff. But we definitely have a massive overlap. But I've recently been seeing some wild success on a second channel with a completely different audience, and you know what? It kind of sucks. Most people on there are normal and lovely, like every community, but man, I've been going strong on that channel for a month, and I've already got my first death threats. And a truly upsetting amount of actual leaving embarrassing comments. So yeah, just a reminder that you guys are one of the most pleasant and lovely communities on the entire platform, and I'm very thankful to call you my community. I really hate to do this. On even the most unnoteworthy days, I like to talk about something just for the sake of completionism. But I'm gonna turbo through the last of the days, as legitimately, it took like 15 minutes to beat. Day 27 introduced the Crystal Skull Zombie, who hits like a wet noodle, just bouncing off tall nuts. Day 28 was a second tile level. Day 29 happened, I guess. Day 30 was a mold colony level, but it didn't change a thing. And day 31 is one final gimmick level before a shitty zomboss to end the world. Well, that was kind of underwhelming. But before I end this video, I want to let you know about my next video and my first ever streamathon. I'll be taking a quick break from Plants vs Zombies, and I'm working on a huge Clash Royale challenge where I'm trying to get the highest rank in the game in just a week as someone that's never played the game before. If you've never played Clash Royale before, that's fine, neither have I. Come and check it out on Twitch, where I'll be streaming it all day, every day for an entire week, starting from as soon as this video is uploaded. Thank you very much for watching. Cheers.